Zac Steele, today's guest, is the youngest deacon at Maranatha Baptist Church, where President Jimmy Carter famously taught Sunday school regularly for decades. One of his duties is to visit the Carters each week to set up their video equipment to watch church services safely in their home. He'll share the superpower he learned from them. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe. Welcome to the Superpowers for Good show. Zac, thank you so much for taking the time to visit with me.
Absolutely, glad to be here.
I know you're busy, but it was a thrill to join you for the worship service today here at Maranatha Baptist Church here in Plains. How long have you been a member?
I've been going to church here about 4 years, a little bit less than a lot of the people here. I think I'm probably either the youngest member or the second youngest member outside the juvenile children of some people. So,
wow,
youngest by quite some time.
Yeah, and you are serving as a deacon in the church, right?
I am. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what does that duty involve?
Good question. Probably anything, those job descriptions or any duties as assigned. So, it takes a lot of stuff. It can be looking at church budgets. It can be getting here at 9:30, making sure the facility is ready to go, all the way down to serving as a personal assistant to President Carter on Sundays when he's in attendance, or maybe even going to his house to make sure his church is set up.
Now, it seems to me even this morning you did that. You ran over to his house to make sure that he was set up to watch the services from home. Is that right?
I did. That's why I couldn't take the 9 o'clock appointment with you guys this morning, because so when he's not scheduled to attend, I usually go to his house and check on President and Mrs. Carter, take them some bulletins, and make sure that their church is where they can live stream, because obviously in the post-pandemic world and coming out, in the elderly age, he's fixing to be 98 coming up this year. And it should be 95 just in a few weeks. So they don't get out that often, but it's our church duties to make sure that they get the same level that anybody else can get.
Oh, that's great. And so this morning when you went, did you see them?
Absolutely.
And talk to them?
Yeah.
And how are they doing this morning?
Same old toothy grin that Mr. Carter's been giving for years to come, and he's got the long old fingers and he always waves and good morning, Zac, and so we take his TV and he's still a little bit dazed sometimes in the morning, but he loves to see his people from church, loves to talk about church. Usually it takes me a few minutes to get it set up, so we're talking church and that conversation usually slides on to some Braves baseball while we're trying to get the church ready.
There you go.
So, yeah.
So you have had some interesting opportunities to get to know former President Jimmy Carter. What is a superpower you have learned from Jimmy Carter?
Probably the way he treats human beings, But before I got the opportunity to meet him, and it's kind of a funny story, was 3 or 4 years ago I was teaching for the State Fire Academy as a fire instructor. So they sent me to Americus, Georgia to teach a class, and everybody sees the tourist attraction of going to see Jimmy Carter's Sunday school. So I thought, I got to do it. In the back of my mind, I'd seen it. I grew up in Northwest Georgia, so not in this vicinity, but I got to take it up. So I was teaching that class Monday through Friday. So I came down early Saturday night, got a room, stayed, came over and watched, and then of course taught, and then stayed in close interaction with Jan, who you spoke to this morning. And so at the time, and Tony Loudon was the preacher here, and we had a good rapport. So I kept coming back, and the superpower, in my opinion, is what you see in the news media. A lot of times you can subtract a lot about people. I don't get that with President and Mrs. Carter. I mean, when you get that and you think, all right, well, I'm going to go watch it one time, and then a couple other times, I may just drive down here and you get to know them. You don't have to wait in the line of 500, 600, 700 people. I mean, these parking lots were a madhouse.
Yeah.
It was absolutely insane to see some of the crowds that come in here. People from all over the world, not just the United States, but so when you could get in and you didn't have to wait in line, maybe I would come back a little more because they were trying to get you to, they knew you lived close. So all of a sudden started coming back. But the superpower to me is where you take the media and then everybody's usually below that. I don't think the media and the public perception of President and Mrs. Carter is truly given to what they really are as people. It was completely resolute. They're so invested in this community. They're so invested in others. I've got a cell phone right here with a message on it. I've got my birthday from a voicemail from both of them during the pandemic where they couldn't get out and visit. but I've got a happy birthday, Zac, calling, thinking about you, letting you know. That's just true of the kind of people they are, because at the time I'm 36 years old, so probably 34 I think the year that happened. Here's some kid from Ringgold, Georgia originally, getting voicemails from, but that's who they are as people, and you see the work they do as humanitarians, but there's a lot more to them than what people really give credit for.
So we do know President Carter as the humanitarian, right? We see him with the Habitat for Humanity especially, but he's been doing that for 50 years. How do you see that manifest on the personal interactions? You talked about the birthday greeting. What are some other examples of him being kind of that who you'd want to see, right? Given what we think of him as the great humanitarian.
You see all that, but there's so much that, like I talked about, that you don't see. And as a guy who taught at the State Georgia Fire Academy for quite some time, we hosted another class right down here in Plains one day, and we got to sit and talk in a church one day, and he was like, I'd love to see that. In the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, And it's just, he's giving me that lip service of what they do. And lo and behold, Mike Swangler, is Special Agent in Charge, Secret Service, that Saturday calls me at 4:30 and says, I just talked to him. He said, don't start. We'll be there at 5:45. And that's the kind of thing, if he tells you he's going to do something, and he really cares. I mean, he cares about a combination fire department of paid and volunteer people out here training in his community. And it's important in his latter years to be able to come out and see that. And so as somebody who hasn't got to spend as much time as, the Jan Williams, the George Williams, the people like that around them, they've seen so many episodes over the years. And I'm seeing it in the latter years, but
he's still doing it.
Still doing it. And sometimes he can't get out of the car, but it's important for him to be there, and that's what means the most. So you just see so many good examples of it. And one Sunday I had the opportunity to teach Sunday school here. Kim Fuller, his niece, teaches quite a bit of the Sunday school, and then Brian, who you saw this morning, teaches a little bit of it. And every now and again I'll jump in and do one every 6 months or so. And he was here one Sunday when that happened, and my family had the opportunity to sit with him, my parents, sister, nieces, and just the class and character that he showed them. It's just incredible what you really see. So
just a genuine human being. Good
absolutely,
guy.
Absolutely.
How would you coach someone to emulate Jimmy Carter?
Well, that's a tough question. I don't. I think we're all unique in our own ways, and we're all quick to judge people and try to measure ourselves against people. And to have somebody that cares about people that he's never met, whether it be citizens of the United States or so many other countries that he spent so much time working in, and the Guinea Worm Project, getting these elections in other countries. And spending so much time with him on Sunday mornings and visiting every Sunday morning. One of the things obviously I'm privy to do that a lot of people aren't is to make relationships with some of his Secret Service guys. And one of them, I've been with him for 22 years and has been to 105 different countries because of President Carter. So if you think that it's just happening in America, or maybe like the Guinea Worm Project or the elections in 1 or 2, it's a lot bigger than what it is. And the question of how do you emulate that, I don't know. Because and it's nothing for them back in his traveling days to make an 8 or 9 country trip on one swing and just to serve people, whether it be we're getting out and we're preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, or we're getting out and trying to make these fair democratic elections. We're trying to get out and eradicate diseases and stuff like that. I mean, who does that stuff anymore? It's just absolutely unheard of. So, and it's a different generation of people too. Work ethic for people like that's impeccable compared to some of the generations we're seeing now in the millennials. So.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time, Zac, to visit. Before we wrap up, maybe you can just take a minute and tell folks how they can learn more about Maranatha Baptist Church here in Plains.
Sure. Obviously our Facebook page is our primary, I hate to use the word marketing, but that's how we get the word out. We have all our services are live streamed on there. We love having visitors here. Obviously, in the post-pandemic world, and as the Carters get a little bit older, we see them very rare anymore. So we get a lot of questions of when's President Carter teaching again.
Yeah.
November the 3rd of 2019 was the last time we saw it. I don't think we're going to see it again in the future. But we still love to talk about it. You know, people come in and how can we talk about it? And it's a prime example of, you know, reaching out to you through email is, you know, if we can keep on talking about what he did to put Christ on display, we're absolutely going to take the time to do that. So look us up. We're always live streaming. We always love to have visitors here. So
fantastic.
Absolutely.
Well, Zac, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Let's do some good.
Let's do it.
Thank you for tuning in to the Superpowers for Good show. Twice each week, we host changemakers who share their impact, insights, and superpowers. Don't miss another episode. Subscribe today at superpowersforgood.com. That's superpowers, 4, good.com. Be super empowered. Get your copy of the book, Superpowers for Good, as an ebook, audiobook, paperback, or hardcover edition via your favorite online retailer. Interested in having me speak to your company, organization, or association? Visit devinthorpe.com. Then let's talk. Now, keep using your superpowers for good. Together, we can reverse climate change, improve global health, and eradicate poverty.